Imagine someone handed you exactly $100. No wealthy parents, no powerful connections, no business, no expensive education, just $100. Now imagine someone else starts on the exact same day with the exact same amount. 10 years later, one person is still living paycheck to paycheck. The other has built a net worth of over $1 million. How is that possible? Did they get lucky? Did they discover some secret investment? Or did they simply make a series of decisions that most people never even notice? Because here's something almost nobody talks about. The journey to $1 million rarely begins with a $1 million idea. It begins with what you do when all you have is $100. In this video, we're going to follow a fictional character named Alex. Alex isn't a genius. He doesn't invent the next big app. He never wins the lottery. He doesn't make risky bets on meme stocks or crypto. Instead, you'll watch how one ordinary decision slowly turns into another, and another, until a path that once looked impossible starts becoming real. By the end of this story, you might realize that the biggest obstacle to becoming wealthy was never the size of your bank account. It was the way you were taught to think about money. Before we begin, one important note. This isn't a promise that $100 magically becomes $1 million. Real wealth takes years of discipline, learning, and smart decisions. This story is about understanding the process, not chasing shortcuts. Because once you understand the process, the amount you start with becomes far less important. Alex looked at the crisp $100 bill sitting on his desk. It wasn't much. In fact, it almost felt meaningless. His first instinct was exactly what most people would think. Maybe I'll buy something I've wanted. A nice dinner, new headphones, a pair of shoes on sale. After all, it's only $100. It couldn't possibly change his future. But then he asked himself a question that changed everything. What if this isn't money? What if it's my first employee? That sounds strange at first, but stay with me. Most people see money as something to spend. Alex decided to see it as something that could work. And that tiny shift became the foundation of everything that followed. Alex didn't spend the $100. He invested it in something most people overlook: knowledge. Not because books are magical, not because courses guarantee success, but because better decisions usually come from better information. Think about it. If two people earn the same income for 20 years, but one consistently makes slightly better financial decisions, who do you think ends up wealthier? The difference isn't intelligence. It's direction. That first $100 didn't make Alex richer overnight. It made him think differently. He started reading about investing, business, negotiation, taxes, cash flow. He learned that wealthy people don't ask, "How much can I spend?" They ask, "How can this money create more opportunities?" That one question quietly changed every financial decision he made from that day forward. And that's when something unexpected happened. Alex stopped chasing money. He started building value. Your first investment should be in your ability to earn. A few months later, Alex still wasn't rich. In fact, his bank account barely looked different. Many people would have quit right there, because we live in a world that expects immediate results. But wealth rarely works that way. Instead of asking, "How can I double my money?" Alex asked, "How can I double my skills?" He realized something that most people completely miss. Income grows when your value grows. So instead of buying things that lost value every year, he invested in learning skills that companies and customers were willing to pay for. Communication, sales, problem solving, digital tools, the kinds of skills that increase your earning potential regardless of the economy. Within a year, he earned a better paying job, not because he got lucky, because he had become more valuable. And here's the part that surprises most people. He didn't celebrate the raise by upgrading his lifestyle. He celebrated by investing the difference. Most people give every raise one job: make my life more expensive. Alex gave every raise a different job: buy me more freedom. That decision looked boring. There were no flashy cars, no luxury vacations, no social media posts showing off success. But beneath the surface, his financial foundation was quietly getting stronger. And while everyone else was using extra income to impress people they barely knew, Alex was preparing for something much bigger. Because the next decision would change everything. The power of ownership. A few years passed. Alex was earning more than ever before. This is where most stories tell you to work even harder. But Alex noticed something strange. No matter how much he earned, his income stopped the moment he stopped working. It was like carrying buckets of water every single day. The harder he worked, the more buckets he carried. But the moment he rested, the water stopped flowing. That's when he discovered the difference between earning money and owning income. Instead of spending every extra dollar, Alex began buying small pieces of businesses through index funds. He slowly invested in companies that worked every day, even while he slept. Later, he built a small online business that solved a real problem. It wasn't glamorous. Some months, it barely made any money. One afternoon, Alex looked at his investment account. The numbers hadn't exploded overnight. There were no dramatic gains, no viral success story, just slow, steady growth. At first, it felt disappointing. Then he noticed something. The money he had invested years earlier was now earning money of its own, and that new money was earning even more. It was like planting a single tree, then watching it grow an entire forest. Most people quit because they expect results too quickly. They dig up the seed every week to check if it's growing. Alex understood that wealth rewards patience. The first few years felt slow, but eventually growth began feeding itself. That's the magic of compounding, not because it's exciting, but because it quietly multiplies consistent decisions over time. What can this money build? Because every millionaire's journey starts in exactly the same place, with one decision, and then another, and another, until one day, people call it overnight success. If you enjoyed this story, you'll love the next video. We'll explore why most people never become financially free, even after decades of hard work.